Welcome to another Marc perspective. I'm Marc, of course. So I've been gone for a while. I need a little break, and I'm glad to be back to go ahead and create this new video. And I think we're just going to cover different topics. So let's just roll with it. Let's just see, what comes up and what's important, in both political and cultural. And let's have those discussions. But while I was gone, it was some interesting moments. So let's get to it.
I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Light?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called
with
Lightyear.
Kiki Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, it fucked me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. These are kids that we have to show that at this age, like,
that part.
they're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
They are going to ask. I don't have the answer.
So there are actually people upset with Snoop Dogg because he said he doesn't want his grandson being introduced to homosexuality in a Disney movie. Why are you mad? If you're really upset about the whole Snoop Dogg situation, I'm staying far away from you because obviously you're a weirdo. Kids should not know about sex. I thought everybody knew that. Apparently not.
Okay, so before I begin, I want to let everybody know that I will be uploading on Twitter. So for those people on Twitter, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. So I want to talk about the Snoop Dogg incident. So I posted a video where Snoop said he took his grandchildren to see Lightyear, something like that. And it shows two females, it's animated, but it shows females that had a baby. And I guess Snoop grandkids were confused. And Snoop didn't know how to explain it because, when a lot of stuff is forced onto you with people that don't have a clear understanding of like the pronouns and same sex, like what to call you, are you male, female, he, she, they, them, all that stuff, it can be confusing. So Snoop didn't know how to respond to this. He just wanted to watch the movie. He didn't know how to respond to it. And so now he's getting backlash from, I guess, a lot from the gay community and others that feel that Snoop should have just accepted what he saw. And so, tradition now, and this has been going on for centuries, the nuclear family is, the mom, the dad, the mom, the children, and it's reinforced by like religion, sitcom, in the media, and in policy when, filing of taxes, marrying. So it's something that we all grew up on. Okay. And now that everything has changed, where more gay couples are adopting children. And me personally, I feel like if a child needs love and it's coming from a gay person or straight person or whatever, then that child is going to get that love. Okay. The only thing that I have to say is, when it comes to making it as, letting children know that a man and a man or a woman and a woman can have a baby. I think as liberals tell us to trust the science, need to trust the science, because a lot of gay couples that adopt babies, especially gay men who, adopt or do the IVF or things like that, it can only happen if the male sperm, which has all the stuff needed to create life, enters into the female where she have her eggs, which are dead until that male sperm touches those eggs, and then it creates life. And so I think we do children a disservice and not trusting the science when you tell kids that, or when you have kids grown up believing that male, female can have a baby. Like, you're doing this movie and you just show these two females with a baby, like as if they were able to create that. I think it's doing people a disservice. We need to let children know exactly the truth. Now, it's not stopping gay couples from having a baby, because like I said, I feel like as long as that child is getting the love and comfort and the support needed, anybody can do that. If whether you're gay, straight, doesn't matter. As long as that child is being raised right, getting love and support. The nuclear family, that can be a discussion for another time, where we can discuss, is it best for the child to grow up with a male and female? I feel like a child is going to be gay. This is my personal opinion. That's why I call this show The Marc Perspective. I feel like a child is going to be gay, and it doesn't matter if that child grows up with a man and a woman. They're going to love who they want to love. I think when we start telling kids or getting upset especially with the older crowd, because, they're just not really in sync with most of the gay community's, aggressive approach for us to accept them and accept a lot of their beliefs. A lot of the older people can't relate. And I think that that's something that shouldn't be forced. I think we need to just help them to build them to understand more, and to where they can learn about, the gay community, because even though some gay guys, they be doing the most, like going overboard with some of that stuff. A lot are very decent people, just want to live, work, and love who they want to love. Nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to the science, only a man and a woman can create life. And children need to know this, and they need to know that, they need to know, like, honestly, I truly feel like a man and a woman a child needs to grow with a man and a woman, because even though they can get love from two women, two men, they can get the same type of love to a certain degree. Because when a mother gives birth to a child, there is a bond that is practically inseparable. Ones who don't and just give them away, they're probably smoking crack and just all jacked up. But the ones who, have a child, there is a bond that happens with that child because it was in them. There's a feeling. And when that parent get that child, the mother gives that child the emotional support. They give them they teach them empathy and things. The man teaches that child, especially the boy child, that I guess the courage, the how to lead, how to be a man. And when it comes to a female, he gives that female the protection, as a father should give his female child the protection they need, that support. Like, she can rely on her father, while the mother teaches that the girl child how to cook, clean, to be a lady. And and it moves on, generation after generation. So I think that's the only thing. I think when it comes to men, we are a personality, so we can be pretty aggressive at times. So even though one can seem more feminine than the others, and sometimes you're with them, they're very feminine, but there's still that a personality trait within them that gives them that hunter feeling, you know, the hunter gatherer, scenario. The males will have that a personality. So we are hunters, and regardless of, even if we're very feminine and so forth, we tend to be aggressive. We are visuals. We will go after what we want. So that's something that I think that should be clear. And so I get it with Snoop, and I understand. And so I think that he shouldn't be getting this backlash. I think that people really need to sit back and realize that Snoop is 50-something years old? Maybe, I don't know how old Snoop is. But he didn't grow up at a time when now, you know, woke is, I guess, supposed to be the thing, and the gay community want us to accept it. And they're hitting us with so much stuff in a very aggressive way. So, you know, not a lot of the older crowd, then they're not able to absorb all that information and to say they're going to accept it, because they grew up a certain time when it wasn't acceptable, or even if there was going on, it wasn't, it wasn't accepted, or it wasn't revealed to them, because a lot of gay people back then hid their sexuality. So that's what I wanted to go over. So with Snoop, I understand, and keep your head up.
Damn, Snoop Dogg really did sell out, from a West Coast legend to now a MAGA grifter, a bootlicker for the conservative right. I mean, you used to be a tone setter. Now you're just a sad old man. You built a whole career off of not flinching. Murder was the case. Smoking, you know what? Sex, women, the whole image. And now you're afraid to go to the movies. It's bad enough that you're a MAGA bootlicker, but now you're talking shit about the two-spirited and LGBTQ community because you took your grandchild to a kid's film where apparently two moms were kissing. So if you haven't heard, in a recent interview, Snoop Dogg talked about how he's afraid to take his grandkids to the movies now because of the content, because they're going to ask questions that he doesn't have answers for. This is coming from a guy that was a gangbanger and used to be a pimp, and now a little cartoon kiss between two moms got them all worked up. That's just fragile. And that's what you're supposed to do when you're a parent or an elder. You take the time and you explain difficult shit to your kids. And if you don't have the answers, go do the work and get the answers. I mean, how do you explain being a pimp, a gangbanger, and a misogynist to your family? And if that's not bad enough, you tap dance for Trump at his inauguration, knowing full well that this dude has done nothing but punch down on marginalized people his entire life. And it's just so sad and pathetic to watch these old dudes that used to be progressive icons like Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, turn MAGA, turn conservative. And it's something that I've noticed as some people age, they become super conservative and super hateful. And then you have all these wannabe alpha males just cheering it on. But look, there is nothing hard or gangster about being a homophobe. If gay people threaten your manhood, then your alpha is just straight up cosplay. And Snoop Dogg, at one time, you were the blueprint, and now you're just a mascot for the conservative right. But I guess we should have known, because Tupac warned us about you almost 30 years ago.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the Trump cleaning up Washington, D.C. So far, it seemed like it's a huge success. 0 homicide in, I think, 11 days. The parks are clean. Better sights to see than homeless people, somebody getting robbed, carjacked, you know, the usual stuff in Washington, D.C. And the people that's complaining are liberals, mostly white, who do not live in Washington, D.C. They're complaining, saying that it's a, what do they say, call it? Dictatorship, fascism. They always coming up with these words to try to persuade us to think that this is true when what we're seeing is success, because now people are saying that they can walk down the street, because nobody was walking down the street at night. It's like, has anybody ever gone to Detroit? And when the sun goes down, Detroit or Oakland? Oakland's another one. When the sun goes down, and like, especially in the city, you better be out off the streets, because it is dangerous out there. So people are happy that Washington, D.C. is safe, where people can walk around and sit at restaurants, sit outside because the weather's nice, and they can eat without being accosted by the homeless, or some other vagabond or something who just want to harass them, beg, things like that. So it's a success. Democrats they went to some like retreat, and they are saying all kind of crap about Trump. And I talked about this in the previous video where Mayor Bowser, she was all in for it, but the Democrats, the DNC must have reached out to her, gave her talking points, and now she's against it. And we know that they're fudging the numbers because the people don't feel like crime is going down. They feel like crime has risen. And we do know that they increased certain crimes like dollar amount or the type of crime it is, to consider what's a felony, what's a misdemeanor, things like that. It's to help so that when you look at the stats, you could say, wow, they're improving on crime. This is what a lot of mayors and them do, so that they can have a good portfolio to say, this, when I was the mayor, so forth, this is what was going on. And you can show that, you worked with the police and crime went down. But that's because they changed the numbers so that it looks like this, that they came up with this great strategy and helped to reduce crime, when in reality, they didn't. And the crime is just getting worse. So kudos to Trump, and I'm glad that the people in D.C. are feeling safe and comfortable to walk down the street.
So they're mad about crime? They're mad about Donald Trump cleaning up D.C. now? They're mad because he's decided to actually put more work in policing in D.C. And now the narrative is, the more police you have, the more crime goes up. Which actually factually makes no fucking sense. Who actually goes out there and robs people when you have police around 24/7 on the streets? You gotta be a dumbass criminal. Who literally goes out there and says, you know what? I need to go unalive a person. While there's literally everybody out. National Guard, federal officers, police. Why would you do that? Because it's stupid. So, factually, that actually makes no sense and is not true. The more police you see, the more you stay the fuck out of the way. At least that's normally how it is, because you would tell some of these damn liberals and their lunatics and some of these young jits that don't give a damn about authorities, these YNs and all these extra stuff, they don't give a damn who it is because they put their hands on cops anyway. But I digress. Donald Trump is making a difference in D.C., as I see. People that are black are not complaining, at least to an extent, like the actual liberal lunatic black ones. But actual black people that gotta live there, that gotta go through these crimes, that gotta worry about walking the streets, white people that gotta worry about, that actually have a sane mind, that gotta actually walk to the Capitol or whatnot, are happy for this. They're even happy behind closed doors. They won't tell you that because 24/7 Trump derangement syndrome, but they are. They are. So, I'm just trying to understand what's the problem. Donald Trump goes on the ground and he's talking about cleaning up the city. Statistics comes out, and DC, for the first 7 days, for the first time ever, has not had a registered homicide. Think about that. One of the hardest statistics to trick that someone did not die. They had 0 killings in D.C. for the first time ever in Washington, D.C. in 7 days. No homicides. Wow. Carjackings are down 83%. Crime as a whole overall is down 30-something%. To a point that they had to go they opened up a damn investigation on DC. Like, are you guys lying to us talking about it's such a safe city? Yeah, maybe they are. Because that's what it is. It's always politics to stay in power. They tell you what you want to hear. They change situations to make it seem like something from what it's not. Even a person came out on record saying that if you have a registered crime and it may not push the narrative that they want, they'll have you change the narrative by changing the crime and registering it as something else. That's slewing the numbers automatically. They don't want you to know that if DC had 100 murders in 1 week, they're not going to tell you that. Come on, right? Nobody would come to DC. So yes, it makes sense for states who do that. So I'm not surprised. Nobody wants you to be known as the murder capital or the most dangerous city in the world. Or nobody wants to be known as that. How do you make money? How do you get tourists? How do you actually make money being with that narrative? You don't. Because people won't go. People value their lives, at least most people. But these numbers are down and liberals are complaining because they don't have to go through it. These white leftist lunatics don't have to go through it, so they complain. They do exactly what it is. Give them a bottle, keep on bitching. That's why I don't care what they say. I don't care. I don't care. Because you only care for your own narrative because you hate Trump. You're not making any type of actual critical, constructive decision making on why you support the things you support. Anything he does, you hate. He could cure cancer tomorrow in every form. You'll make up a narrative why you hate him. So at the end of the day, DC is getting safer. You've watched black men and women that literally have to deal with this every single day, every day, and they are not complaining. The biggest shame for them that they don't like is that he has to leave soon. They wish it could go forever. So we'll see. When he leaves, let's see if crime ramps back up. If there's a bunch of killings and carjackings and people are complaining. And we'll see who is telling the truth eventually. But at the end of the day, right now, not one homicide in 7 days. Ooh-wee. Try to spend that, Democrats.
So I want to talk about England, the United Kingdom. And I went and got some data. There's somebody that lives out in England. I don't think she lives in Scotland. I think she's in England. And hopefully she'll see this video and she can give us some more feedback to this, because she is very knowledgeable in England. A very smart lady. Her name, let me see if I could find it, because I truly hope she can give us some feedback. I believe her name is Karen. And I believe she's from England. But so the reason why I want to talk about England is because they have allowed immigration to overtake this country, and the UK identity is basically being stripped, and now it's becoming more like a lot of Muslim, Albanians and so forth. They're in this country, and they are causing all kind of havoc. And the country that people used to enjoy going to, because, you have the queen, or not a king, the parliament, things like that, Big Ben. It's just, it was a beautiful place. I went there back 2000. I was in England, 2004, maybe 2004. And it was beautiful. stayed in a nice little hotel, got a chance to see the city. It was great. But things have changed, and not for the better. So I've got some information on immigration and the crime trends in England. So let me see. So irregular migration surge. So in 2024, over 36,000 migrants arrived via small boats, a 25% increase from 2023. Many of these crossings are facilitated by organized crime groups, which have become more aggressive and profit driven. So that's a problem. So also foreign national offenders, or FNOs. As of 2024, foreign nationals made up 12% of the UK prison population, with Albanians being the most prevalent nationality after British citizens. Between 2021 to 2023, over 100,000 foreign nationals were convicted of serious crimes, including rape, robbery, and drug offenses. Like I said, England is changing. Disproportionate crime rates. Albanians, Romanians, and Poles top the conviction charts for violent and drug-related crimes. Per capita, Albanians had a conviction rate 30 times higher than British nationals. Really something very shocking. But Albanians, they are known for a lot of criminal activities. Sexual offense data. Foreign nationals accounted for 15 to 23% of sexual offense convictions between 2021 to 2023. In 2024 alone, 26.1% of sexual offense arrests involved foreigners, despite their smaller population share. And terrorism links. Nearly 80% of UK terrorism charges since 2001 were tied to ideologies originating outside the country. Many of the top nationalities involved in terror-related offenses also appear among those crossings, those crossing the channel illegally. So it's something else. I don't know what to say because, like I said, I haven't been in England in a while. You know, I really don't have no plans on going over there. The dollar to the pound is still a little off, and you know, I want more bang for my bucks when it comes to the money. So I hope so. If somebody wants to come from England to the United States and visit, I'd love to meet with you guys, say hello. But yeah, no plans on going out there now. So let's frame this. So I guess you have to ask yourself, is it compassion fatigue or cultural erosion? So is England's identity reshaped by immigration, and at what cost? So I see cultural erosion. So with that being said, compassion, you know, is causing cultural erosion because England had a very rich culture. They go back centuries. We're talking years. I can't even tell you the beginning because that's how far it goes. So to know they had a rich history and a rich history with America, that's why the bond between America and England is so tight. But because now the country is changing, as you can see, like the city of London, but you had that mayor who's Muslim, had a very harsh relationship with Trump, and probably America because America support Israel, and you know, a lot of Muslims which live in the city of London are more anti-Israel and support more Muslim nationals. So that's one thing I see. But so I see cultural erosion happening. Security versus sanctuary. So can a nation uphold asylum principles while protecting its citizens from organized crime and terrorism? So England, to be honest, for England to be what it once was, they have to abolish sanctuary. They have to abolish it. They need to go towards security. That means A lot of people in that country are illegal. They need to catch them and ship them out. And then start checking these people papers, because some of them stay longer and so forth. The ones who commit crimes, they need to be deported. Okay? You need to keep the country speaking English, because that's what England is, just like America. And we need to keep England stable. Stability means a lot. And when you have all these different religions, different cultures coming in there, basically taking over, then you're losing the battle. When you have an open border like that, it's a bad move. You're not a part of the EU anymore. So please secure your borders and abolish sanctuary, England as a sanctuary country. The data they didn't want you to see. A deep dive into the new Migrant Crime League tables and what they reveal about government and transparency. So, I would love to see that. I don't know why that was in here written, because they're not telling me anything, but obviously it's worse than you can imagine. And they're not telling you anything, just like when I talked about crime, how they fudge the numbers. So you thinking one thing when in reality it's another. So, but, I hope my friend Karen jumps on and leave us a message, because like I said, England was once a very beautiful country. You know, it had its problems, but it still was rich with history, culture, you know. It was a place where you wanted to visit. And now it's a place where, you know, it's not as beautiful as it once was. And I think that the people of England needs to stand their ground and that England as a sanctuary country. And I really believe that. And I hope if you guys are listening, I hope you would go and challenge Parliament.
UK has finally lost it, because this was what I was faced at the Edinburgh airport. And I know it's not for the Christians, it's for the doctors and engineers. And I know that I'm not one to tell, because I'm from Sweden. But it's time for Europe to wake up.
Imagine a country where the national flag is ripped down from lampposts, while foreign flags are left flying for years. Imagine a country where 50,000 people arrive illegally in months, and even when their claims fail, they stay in taxpayer-funded hotels for a year. Imagine a country where grooming gangs are ignored for decades because the authorities were too afraid of offending communities. Imagine a country where pensioners are arrested for Facebook posts, but repeat offenders walk free with suspended sentences. Imagine a country where young families can't get a council house, but entire hotels are kept for people who just crossed the channel. Sounds like something out of a bad storybook or from a backwards regime. Now that's not fiction. That's England, 2025. And every single one of us is paying the price. How long will we allow this to go on? Tell me your take in the comments.
I'm not racist, I'm not, but we can't take them in this country, we can't, it's too much.
We have got enough wrong ones of our own. We don't need to be importing any more.
Asylum seekers have been housed in this hotel on the Wirral for 5 years, but protests only started 3 weeks ago, driven by a proposal to move out the families with children who were here and home single men instead.
It's not anything to do with race, nationality or anything like that. If they were coming legally, then that's fine, but coming on the boats and then being put into areas where there's schools, there's nurseries, there's vulnerable children, and we know nothing about them, I think it's a risk to our local area.
The topic of conversation in here a lot is to do with this. I wouldn't even have 100 Englishmen in that. You know, families, they integrate into the population, they go to the schools along with every other child here. You know, and I just think men on their own, why have they left their women and children there?
The Labour-run council here wants the government to reconsider and says it would look at mirroring Epping Council in a court challenge to get the hotel shut. Only a very small number of asylum seekers are housed in hotels in this area. Only 5%, in fact, are in hotels. The rest are in different types of accommodation. But the protests here, although rooted in very local concerns when you speak to people, have become part of this wider question about illegal migration in general, but also what the government is seen to be doing about it.
There doesn't seem to be anything to curtail people. They say, oh yeah, we'll do that, and then nothing happens.
It makes me feel really sad, actually. I'd like to see people be welcomed in our country and looked after.
Shut the hotels down, don't let them in, and get them on the boats, put them back. That's all I can say, really. I get a bit angry.
You get a bit angry. What is it about it that makes you angry?
It just riles me to think we've got our own problems and the homeless, and like I say, and they're given everything.
And finally, I want to talk about Crack Barrel and that whole drama that they were going through. So, I know that Cracker Barrel had unveiled a new, more simplified logo. It was stripping away the iconic image of Uncle Herschel. I guess Uncle Herschel gave that impression of old, like a lot of liberals love to say old white man and so forth. So they probably wanted to get away from that look and come up with a more modern look and a little more, to attract younger folks, I guess, they wanted to bring in more traffic. So I took down some notes on what it was that they were trying to do. So they were trying to increase traffic and bring in a much younger crowd. So basically they were going woke. That's basically what Cracker Barrel was doing. They figured by doing this, this would update restaurant decor to be less cluttered and more contemporary. It would be launching new menu items and campaigns and attempting to shed its image as a nostalgia-heavy, old-fashioned chain. So that Cracker Barrel was basically selling nostalgia, along with a more rustic look in the restaurant and so forth. So that was Cracker Barrel's image. That's when you went into Cracker Barrel, that's what you saw, a more, you can go shopping. They had all different type of things. And, the restaurant had a more rustic look, looked like you was at a farm somewhere or something. But that was Cracker Barrel. And they wanted to be more modernized. They changed the look, made it look more contemporary. And it backfired. So what did they say? So customers felt the new logo erased the brand's identity and charm. And social media, because that's how I found out it was on social media. Social media erupted with criticism, labeling the change as woke or soulless. Wow. And even political figures like Donald Trump weighed in, urging the company to return to its roots. The stock dropped 12%, losing $94 million in market value in a single day. That is not good. That is not good. And when you have the president weighing in, and President Trump has been in business for a very long time. So what he said made sense. Listen to the people. You got to listen to your audience, and yeah, go back to what it is that they like. Go back to what it was that made you a lot of money. I don't know this lady's name who's the CEO for Cracker Barrel, but sometimes instead of trying to make a mass, so how can I say? So Target failed in places like Canada and so forth because what they did was, because Target's such a big place, they thought that they could just come in big, go in, and people were going to be attracted to Target. But the problem is that Canada already had their big, like we have Target, Canada had theirs. And I don't know if it's Rogers or what, but they have a huge one out there. So if you're going into another country to try to convince the people that you're the best, you have to start off small. You have to come in, you have to, what we say, read the audience. So you have to, wherever you want to set shop up, you have to invest in the neighborhood. So you got to go out, you have to take that time and start talking to the people, getting them to be more aware of your company and what it is that this company can do for your community. And you have to do that. And it's not like just one day. This takes a while. So now you have to promote the business to the people to convince them that you're there to really uplift the community and not to tear it down. And then you come in and you can start off with, it doesn't have to be huge, but it can be at a size whereby people can go in and they can then learn and see what, the company's about. So that's how Target, I felt, should have approached the situation, but I don't think they did that. I think they came in guns blazing already and failed miserably. So, with this here, I think they should have taken a couple of places. They should have taken one place or a couple in certain areas, mostly up north if there's any Cracker Barrels up there. And then they could have changed the look, new logo, and then test it out to see what did the people feel about, this logo, the new look, the new menus, and if they would have had a good review, they could have then spread it out a little bit more so that the people can then become more aware of the brand, what it is you're trying to do, and still keep the Cracker Barrel style while upgrading to attract a much younger crowd, to bring in that foot traffic, to basically bring in more money. So I think that's where Cracker Barrel went wrong. And Cracker Barrel had left a comment. They said, "We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain." So that is that. And it's been quite a couple of days since I've been gone. My hat is, every time I look at it, it just doesn't look right. Like something's wrong. I gotta fix this hat. It's really crooked, but I'll get it right. But yeah. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to still stick with me as I do these videos and try to get as much information out as possible. And hopefully you can now see me on Twitter. Welcome everybody from Twitter once again. And I will be finding other sites to go to so I can load videos. If people are checking me out on Twitter and you want to see, episodes like from episode 1 to 40 to 48, because I'm going to now upload 49 on Twitter, please go to YouTube. You'll find me on YouTube, and now I'll be on Twitter. But yeah, so make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
I'm sure by now that y'all have seen our new logo, and trust me, we hear you and we see you. As granddaughter of the founder of Cracker Barrel, I wanted to chat with y'all today about what we stand for at Cracker Barrel, and to reassure you that even though our logo has changed, what we stand for has not. Granddaddy was a good man with a mission, and that mission is still alive today. To serve good food to good people. And we believe in change, the right change. That's why we're bringing our old logo back. And don't worry, we fired that son of a gun who suggested that we just drop Cracker from the name instead. Listen, it's not all grits and glamour running a family business. So to make it right, we're offering free meals to our brave and loyal customers who fought for our freedoms on January 6th. And to those of y'all who stuck by our side through thick and thin, and I'm not talking gravy, thank you. Y'all don't be a stranger now.
Cracker Barrel is officially bringing back their old logo. They said the backlash was too much, so they putting Connor back in the logo. And I want to tell all the Caucasians that I appreciate y'all so much. I never seen so many grown people cry by putting Connor back in the damn logo. Like, it made me realize something about myself. I didn't fight hard enough for Aunt Jemima. Like I was upset. I was so upset. I've been in protests over Aunt Jemima this whole time, a silent protest. I've been eating raw pancakes and raw waffles, just dry dry as hell. Cause it pissed me off how that, I just woke up one day and they said, we taking Aunt Jemima back away cause black people upset. We wasn't upset. We like to moisturize all the pancakes on the damn universe and whatnot. So if Connor can go back on the logo, the Cracker Barrel, take Aunt Jemima off the unemployment line. Cause like that whole time was pissing me off. We was saying like, hey, the police is tripping, and y'all response was, hey, yeah, you right. Take Aunt Jemima away. Like, what are we talking about with your dumb ass?
Put the racism back in the logo. Y'all messing up Cracker Barrel. Nobody asked for this, man. That's one place you could leave it just like it is. I need to feel the Confederacy in there, man. Where's Robert E. Lee, man? Let's get these statues back up. The South shall rise again. I don't want this woke crap. What DEI hire made this logo? This is terrible. Robert E. Lee is rolling over in his grave right now. You just want to welcome everybody down to the barrel? Nah, man. You need to feel like you don't belong. That's what makes the edges of the pancake crispy. It's racism. This Chip and Joanna logo, Food Network. I hate this woke crap. Go woke, go broke. I won't be going back down to Cracker Barrel until they put the old logo back.
You know, I can't leave you guys without playing some of these dumbasses and their video, because everything liberals, they just can't help themselves. Liberals, black liberals, they just can't help themselves. Everything has to be about racism. So this logo, because they have Uncle Herschel on it, and he's supposed to be a racist because of the look and everything, you know, the South and all. These people are stupid, and you know, and I don't even know what to say, but I had to play that video so you can see the ignorance from these people, from a company that wanted to go modern but went back to this old style look because the people they didn't like the new look. But yet the young people who probably don't even, like most of them probably don't even eat at Cracker Barrel, they got something to say. It's just like the straws. They cried all the straws killing the fishes and all this other stuff, pollution. And then when they give them the paper straw, they don't like it and they don't even use it. So, man, cry me a river, man. These people are sick. Anyway, thank you guys. It's good to be back. I enjoyed my days off, but now it's time to get back to work. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully there'll be plenty more where that came from. Until then, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you again soon, especially hitting the big 50. So when I do episode 50, I want to make sure that one is great. So I'll see you guys then. Until then, peace.